I knew exactly who Marco Romano was the moment he walked into the charity gala. Everyone did. The Romano heir, son of my father's greatest enemy, the man whose family had been at war with mine for 3 generations. What I didn't expect was for him to be the most beautiful man I'd ever seen. Isabella. "Stop staring," Sophia hissed, gripping my arm. "Your father will kill you, and then Marco's father will kill what's left." I'm not staring. I'm observing. But I was absolutely staring. Marco Romano moved through the crowd like a predator. Confident, dangerous, completely aware that every eye in the room tracked his movements. What's he doing here anyway? This is neutral territory, but it's bold. Apparently, the Romano family donated a significant amount to the children's hospital. They couldn't exactly refuse his attendance without causing a scene. I watched as Marco greeted various guests, his smile polite but never reaching his eyes. He was playing a role just like I was. The dutiful son, the legitimate businessman, pretending his family didn't run half the organized crime in New York. Just like I pretended my father was a simple real estate mogul instead of the head of the Castellano crime family. "I need a drink," I muttered, heading toward the bar. Bad timing. Marco reached it at the same moment. We stood there for a heartbeat, close enough that I could smell his cologne. Something expensive and woodsy. His eyes met mine, gray-blue like a storm, and I felt something electric pass between us. "Ladies first," he said, his voice deep with a hint of amusement. "How progressive of you, considering your family's medieval attitudes toward women." His eyebrow raised slightly. "Bold words from a Castellano, especially considering your father still arranges marriages like it's the 1950s. At least we don't murder people who look at us wrong. No, you just poison them at dinner parties. Much more civilized. We were trading insults like weapons, but there was something underneath it. A spark, a challenge, something dangerous and thrilling." "Isabella Castellano," I said, offering my hand like I was daring him. "I know who you are." But he took my hand anyway, and the contact sent heat up my arm. "Marco Romano, though you clearly already knew that. Your reputation precedes you, as does yours. Yale graduate, art history major, works at the Met, pretends to be normal." His eyes held mine. "How's that working out?" "Better than law school at Columbia and pretending your family's import business is legitimate." "Touché." He signaled the bartender. "What are you drinking?" "Why, planning to poison it?" "If I wanted you dead, Isabella, I wouldn't waste good alcohol doing it." He smiled, and it was devastating. "I'd make it memorable. I should walk away. Should put distance between myself and this man whose family had killed 3 of my uncles, whose father would murder mine without hesitation if given the chance. Instead, I said, whiskey. Neat." We moved to a quiet corner of the terrace, away from the crowd, away from prying eyes. Dangerous. Reckless. Exactly the kind of thing my father had warned me never to do. "So," Marco said, leaning against the railing, "do we keep trading insults or do we acknowledge that this," he gestured between us, "is more interesting than anything else happening at this boring gala?" This is insanity. Our families are enemies. Our families are dinosaurs clinging to old grudges neither of us started. He took a sip of his drink. "I don't hate you, Isabella. I don't even know you, but I'd like to." "Why?" "Because you're the first person in months who's looked at me and seen Marco instead of the Romano heir. Because you're sharp and brave and beautiful. Because," he stopped, "because I'm tired of this war." "Aren't you?" I was. God, I was so tired of it. Of the violence, the paranoia, the weight of family legacy pressing down until I could barely breathe. One conversation doesn't end a generations-old blood feud. No, but it's a start. He pulled out his phone. "Give me your number." "Absolutely not. Why not?" "Scared? Of you? Please, then prove it. Give me your number. Let me take you to dinner, somewhere neutral. Somewhere we can talk without our families finding out." This was how people died in my world. Trusting the wrong person. Making reckless choices. But something in Marco's eyes made me want to be reckless. I rattled off my number, watching as he programmed it in. "1 dinner. That's all. 1 dinner," he agreed. For now. I left the gala early, my head spinning. Sophia caught up with me at the car. Please tell me you didn't just give Marco Romano your phone number. I didn't just give Marco Romano my phone number. You're lying. Yes. Isabella, are you insane? If your father finds out, he won't. Nobody saw us. It's fine, but it wasn't fine. That night, lying in bed, my phone buzzed. Unknown. Did you make it home safely? How did you already have my number saved? I'm efficient and paranoid. One of my men followed your car to make sure you arrived safely. That's creepy. That's necessary. In case you haven't noticed, we're both targets just by existing. Your safety matters to me. We just met. And yet I can't stop thinking about you. Tuesday, 8 p.m. I know a place. Say yes. I stared at the message for a full minute. This was dangerous. Stupid. Could start a war. Yes. Thank you for taking a chance on me. Sleep well, Isabella. I didn't sleep well. I dreamed of gray blue eyes and dangerous smiles and a future that could never exist. The next morning, my father summoned me to his office. Isabella, sit. Salvatore Castellano wasn't a tall man, but he commanded respect through sheer force of will. He'd built an empire through violence and cunning, and he'd taught me everything I knew about survival. The gala last night. You enjoyed yourself? It was fine. Boring, mostly. Good. Because I need to discuss something with you. He poured himself coffee, not offering me any. A bad sign. The Romano family has approached us with a proposal. A truce. An alliance. My blood ran cold. What kind of alliance? The permanent kind. Through marriage. He looked at me directly. Giovanni Romano has a son, Marco, 26, Columbia Law, heir to their organization. He's proposing a union. Your marriage to Marco would unite our families. End the war. Create the most powerful crime family in New York. I couldn't breathe. You can't be serious. I'm very serious. This war has cost us too much. Too many men, too much money, too much blood. An alliance makes strategic sense. I'm not a bargaining chip. You're my daughter. Which means you're exactly that. His voice was cold. This is how our world works, Isabella. You've known this your entire life. It's time to accept your role. I won't marry someone I don't even know to end a war I didn't start. You will. The contract is being drawn up now. The wedding is in 3 months. 3 months? Papa, please. The discussion is over. He stood, dismissing me. You'll meet with Marco next week for dinner. Get to know your future husband. Be grateful. From what I hear, he's handsome and intelligent. You could do far worse. I fled to my room, my hands shaking. This couldn't be happening. I couldn't be forced to marry Marco Romano, no matter how attractive I found him. No matter that I'd already agreed to dinner with him. Wait. He'd asked me to dinner. Tuesday. Had he known? Had he been playing me from the start? My phone buzzed. Marco. I just heard about the arrangement. Please believe me when I say I knew nothing about this when I asked you to dinner. My father just told me. I'm as shocked as you are. How do I know you're telling the truth? You don't. But Isabella, I swear on my life I didn't know. I asked you to dinner because I wanted to get to know you. Not because I was told to marry you. This is insane. Agreed. Can we still have dinner Tuesday? I think we need to talk. Figure out what we're going to do. What can we do? Our fathers made a decision. Then we make one too. Meet me. Let's at least make this choice ourselves. I stared at the message, my mind racing. In 3 months, I'd be married to Marco Romano whether I wanted to or not. Unless I ran, which would start a war. Unless I refused, which would dishonor my family and probably get people killed, or I could meet him, talk to him, see if maybe, just maybe, there was a way to make this arrangement bearable. Tuesday, 8 p.m. But Marco, if this is a trick, if you're playing me, I will make you regret it. Fair enough. I'll pick you up. And Isabella? I promise no tricks, just honesty. We're in this together now, were we? I barely knew him. But he was right about one thing. We were in this together, whether we wanted to be or not. Sophia came to my room an hour later, her face pale. It's all over the family network. You're engaged to Marco Romano. Isabella, what are we going to do? We? I'm the one being married off like a medieval princess. Okay, what are you going to do? I have no idea. Meet him for dinner. Try to figure out if he's someone I can stand being married to for the rest of my life. I laughed bitterly. God, listen to me. 24 years old and my life is over. Maybe he's nice. I mean, he's gorgeous. Everyone says he's smart. He's also a Romano. His family has been trying to kill mine since before we were born. How am I supposed to build a life with someone whose father murdered my uncle? The same way he's supposed to build a life with someone whose father murdered his cousin, I guess. You'll figure it out. You always do. But I wasn't sure I could figure this out. This wasn't a problem I could think my way out of. This was bigger than me, bigger than Marco, bigger than anything I'd ever faced. All I could do was meet him Tuesday and hope that maybe, somehow, we could find a way to survive this together. Tuesday arrived too quickly. I changed outfits 4 times before settling on a simple black dress. Elegant, but not trying too hard. If I was being forced into this marriage, I'd at least maintain my dignity. Marco texted at 7:30. I'm downstairs. Take your time. No rush. You're early. Nervous. Didn't want to be late for the most important dinner of my life. Despite everything, I smiled. At least he was honest. The car waiting outside wasn't the ostentatious limousine I'd expected, but a sleek black sedan. Marco stood beside it in dark slacks and a navy button-down, looking unfairly handsome and slightly terrified. Isabella. He opened the door himself, no driver in sight. You look beautiful. You're driving? I thought we could use privacy. No drivers, no bodyguards reporting back to our fathers. Just us. His eyes met mine. Unless that makes you uncomfortable. I can call. No, privacy is good. I slid into the passenger seat, hyper-aware of how intimate this felt. Where are we going? Somewhere neutral. Somewhere we can talk without being interrupted or watched. He started the car, his hand steady on the wheel despite his earlier admission of nerves. And somewhere with excellent food, because if we're having the most awkward conversation in history, we might as well eat well. The restaurant was in Brooklyn, far from both our families' territories. Small, intimate, the kind of place that didn't take reservations but somehow had a table waiting for us. The owner is old family friend. Marco explained as we were seated in a private corner. Neutral party. He won't talk. You've thought this through. I've thought about nothing else for 3 days. He poured water, his movements careful. Isabella, before we talk about the arrangement, I need you to know something. What I said at the gala, about wanting to get to know you, that was real. My father's announcement didn't change that. If anything, it made it more important. How convenient. Fair. I deserve your suspicion. He leaned back, studying me. So let me be completely transparent. Yes, I'm the Romano heir. Yes, my father has done terrible things. Yes, our families have been at war my entire life. But Isabella, I'm tired of it. I've been working for 2 years to convince my father to pursue peace. This arrangement. It's not what I would have chosen, but it's a path to ending the bloodshed. And marrying me is just a fortunate side effect. Marrying you is the part that makes this bearable. Possibly even good. His eyes held mine. I meant what I said. I don't know you well, but I want to. And if we have to get married anyway, shouldn't we at least try to make it real? To build something more than a political alliance? You're asking me to fall in love with you on command? I'm asking you to give us a chance. 3 months isn't a lot of time, but it's something. We could date, really date, get to know each other, see if maybe there's something here worth building on. The waiter appeared with wine, a bottle I recognized as expensive. Marco must have pre-ordered. When we were alone again, I took a long sip, needing the courage. What if we try and it doesn't work? What if we spend 3 months and realize we can't stand each other? Then we get married anyway and make the best of it. At least we tried. At least we gave ourselves a chance. He reached across the table, his hand open in invitation. But Isabella, I think it will work. I think we have something. That spark at the gala, you felt it too. I know you did. I had felt it. God help me, I'd felt it intensely. Our families killed each other. How do we get past that? The same way we get past everything else in this world. One day at a time, by choosing to move forward instead of staying trapped in the past. His voice was earnest. I'm not asking you to forget what my family did to yours. I'm asking you to see that I'm not my father, that maybe we can be different. Better. You make it sound simple. It's not simple. It's probably the hardest thing either of us will ever do. But Isabella... He finally took my hand, and the contact sent electricity through me. I think you're worth it. Worth trying, worth fighting for. You barely know me. Then let me change that. Starting now. He squeezed my hand gently. Tell me about you. Not Isabella Castellano. daughter of a crime boss. The real you. What makes you happy? What do you dream about? What do you want from life? So I told him about my love of art, of spending hours at the Met lost in paintings from centuries ago, about wanting to curate someday, to bring beauty to the world instead of violence, about feeling trapped between the life I wanted and the life I was born into. And Marco listened. Really listened. Asked questions. Shared his own dreams. Of legitimizing the family business. Of using their resources for good instead of crime. Of building something his future children could be proud of. Children? I asked, surprised. Someday. If... He stopped, looking vulnerable. If I find the right person, someone who wants that future too. Is that what you see? When you think about marrying me? Children and a legitimate business? I see possibility. I see a partner who's as smart as she is beautiful, who understands this world but wants to change it. Who... He laughed softly. Who scares me a little because she's so far out of my league. I'm not out of your league. Isabella, you graduated summa cum laude from Yale. You speak 4 languages. You can discuss Renaissance art and balance sheets with equal ease. You're terrifying in the best way. You went to Columbia Law. You're running a multi-million-dollar organization at 26. You're not exactly a slouch. But I'm doing it because I have to. You're doing what you love. There's a difference. The food arrived. Course after course of perfect Italian cuisine. We ate and talked, the conversation flowing easier than I'd expected. Marco was funny, self-deprecating, genuinely interested in everything I said. Okay, he said over dessert. Rapid-fire questions. Let's really get to know each other. All right. You first? Favorite movie? The Godfather, ironically. He laughed. Of course. Favorite color? Deep red. Yours? Navy blue. Morning person or night owl? Night owl. Coffee or tea? Espresso. Multiple cups. It's a problem, he grinned. Biggest fear? Losing myself. Becoming just a piece on the family chessboard. I looked at him directly. You? Becoming my father. Perpetuating this cycle of violence. Failing the people who depend on me. The honesty in his voice made my chest tight. You won't. You're already different. How do you know? Because you're here. Because you asked me about my dreams. Because you see me as a person, not a bargaining chip. I set down my fork. My father told me about the arrangement and dismissed me. You asked for dinner and conversation. That's the difference. Something shifted in his expression. Isabella, I need to tell you something. The marriage contract, there are clauses. Rules we need to follow. What kind of rules? We have to be seen together. Public appearances. Dinner with both families next week. A combined birthday party for my mother and your aunt. Building the narrative of a love match to satisfy both sides. Fake a relationship? Not fake. Real, but performed. Let people see us falling for each other. Make it believable. He reached for my hand again. The thing is, I don't think I'll be acting. I think I'm already falling. My breath caught. Marco, I know it's too soon. I know it's insane. But Isabella, when I look at you, I don't see a Castellano. I don't see my father's enemy or a political alliance. I see someone I could love. Someone I think I already do love. At least a little. We've had one dinner. And I've thought about you every moment since the gala. That's not nothing. His thumb traced circles on my palm. Tell me you don't feel it. Tell me I'm alone in this and I'll back off. I'll be whatever you need me to be. But I couldn't tell him that. Because I did feel it. This impossible, irrational pull toward a man I should hate. I feel it. I admitted. But I'm terrified. Me too. But maybe we can be terrified together. He stood, pulling me up with him. Come on. I want to show you something. We drove to the Brooklyn Bridge, parking and walking out onto the pedestrian path. The city sparkled below us, lights reflected in the water. This is where I come when I need to think, Marco said. When the pressure gets too much, I come here and remember that New York is bigger than our families, that there's a whole world out there beyond blood feuds and old grudges. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. He turned to face me, his hands gentle on my arms. Isabella, I know this is fast. I know it's complicated, but I need you to know I will never force you. If you want to go through with this marriage and keep it purely business, I'll respect that. If you want to try for something real, I'm all in. The choice is yours. What if I don't know what I want? Then we take it slow. We keep dating. We give ourselves time to figure it out. He moved closer. but I'd like to kiss you, just once. So we both know if this is real or just adrenaline and fear." My heart hammered. "Okay." He kissed me slowly, carefully, like I was something precious. His hand cupped my face, his mouth moving over mine with controlled heat. And God, it was real. So real it scared me. When we broke apart, we were both breathing hard. "Definitely real," he murmured. "Definitely terrifying. Best kind of terrifying." He rested his forehead against mine. 3 months, Isabella. Give us 3 months. Let me court you properly. Take you to dinner, bring you flowers, make you laugh. Let me prove that this arrangement could be the best thing that ever happened to both of us. And if it's not, then we face that when we come to it. But I really think we could be incredible together. I looked up at him, at this man who was supposed to be my enemy, who was looking at me like I hung the moon. Okay, 3 months. But Marco, no lies, no games. Complete honesty, even when it's hard. Deal, complete honesty. Starting now, I'm already in love with you. A little bit, getting worse by the minute. Despite everything, I laughed. That's not how love works. Then explain why I can't stop thinking about you. Why kissing you felt like coming home. Why the thought of spending my life with you makes me happy instead of terrified. You're very romantic for a mobster. I'm very motivated. You make me want to be better, do better, build something worth having. He drove me home an hour later, parking outside my building. Dinner Friday? He asked. With both families. Official announcement of the engagement. It's going to be intense. Wonderful. But Saturday, just us. I'll take you somewhere special. Make up for the family dinner. He kissed my hand. Thank you for tonight. For giving us a chance. Thank you for asking. I opened the door, then paused. Marco, I'm falling too. Just so you know, his smile was brilliant. Good. That makes this much less terrifying. That night, I lay in bed staring at my ceiling, my lips still tingling from his kiss. In 3 months, I'd marry Marco Romano, but maybe, just maybe, that wasn't the worst thing that could happen. Maybe it was the beginning of something extraordinary. Friday arrived with the weight of a death sentence. The family dinner to announce our engagement, officially, which meant facing both the Castellanos and the Romanos in the same room for the first time in decades without someone ending up dead. You need to wear this, my father said, handing me a velvet box. Inside was the Castellano family ring, a massive ruby surrounded by diamonds, worn by Castellano brides for 5 generations. Papa, this is too much. You are marrying to unite 2 families. You will wear the symbols of both. His expression softened slightly. Your mother wore this ring. She'd want you to have it. My mother, who'd died when I was 10, who'd also been married off to end a dispute, though she'd grown to love my father eventually. I wondered if she'd been as terrified as I was now. The Romano boy, my father continued. He's treating you well? Yes. Marco he's kind, respectful, good, because if he hurts you, alliance or no alliance, I'll kill him myself. Papa. What? You're still my daughter. That doesn't change. He kissed my forehead, rare affection. Make me proud tonight. The dinner was held at Maria, a high-end Italian restaurant that both families had agreed upon as neutral territory. The entire place had been rented out for the evening, security everywhere, tension thick enough to cut. Marco was already there when I arrived with my father and his men. He stood when he saw me, his eyes traveling over the red dress I'd chosen before landing on the ruby ring. Isabella. He crossed to me immediately, taking my hand and kissing it formally, but his thumb traced my palm in a gesture that was anything but formal. You look stunning. You clean up well yourself. He was in a full suit, charcoal gray with a burgundy tie that matched my dress. Intentional? I suspected his mother had coordinated. Before the families arrive, he said quietly. I have something for you. He pulled out a small box. The Romano family engagement ring. I know you're wearing your family's, but tradition dictates. Inside was a breathtaking sapphire ring, deep blue surrounded by diamonds. Marco, this is my grandmother's. She left it to me with instructions to give it to the woman I loved. He took it out, sliding it onto my right hand since the ruby occupied my left. Now you wear both, united. Are we? United? Getting there. His hand lingered on mine. Are you ready for this circus? No, but I'll survive. We'll survive. Together. The families began arriving. First the Romanos. Marco's father Giovanni, tall and imposing with gray hair and cold eyes. His mother Lucia, elegant and warm, who immediately pulled me into a hug. Finally, a daughter, she exclaimed. Marco has told me so much about you. Welcome to the family, Cara. Then the Castellanos, my father, my uncle Tony, various cousins and associates. The two patriarchs faced each other, decades of hatred simmering between them. Salvatore, Giovanni said stiffly. Giovanni. They shook hands, the gesture looking painful for both, then turned to Marco and me. This marriage will unite our families, Giovanni announced to the room. In generations of bloodshed, together, the Romano and Castellano families will be unstoppable. To peace, my father added, though the word sounded foreign in his mouth. And to my daughter's happiness. That surprised me. I'd expected him to focus purely on business. Dinner was served, course after course of exquisite Italian food that I could barely taste through my nerves. Marco sat beside me, his hand finding mine under the table, grounding me. Breathe, he whispered. You're doing great. I feel like I'm on display. You are. We both are. But let them look. Let them see what they want to see. Two people falling in love. Are we? Falling in love? I am, completely. How about you? Before I could answer, Marco's uncle called out, So tell us, how did you two meet? How did this romance begin? Marco and I exchanged glances. We'd agreed on a story. A version of the truth that made sense. The charity gala last month, Marco said smoothly. I saw Isabella across the room and knew I had to meet her. She was the most beautiful woman there. He was persistent, I added, playing along. Wouldn't take no for an answer when he asked for my number. And? Lucia prompted, eyes sparkling. When was the first date? The next week. He took me to a restaurant in Brooklyn. We talked for hours. I'd never met anyone who understood me so completely. That part was true. All of it was true, just reframed to sound romantic instead of desperate. And the proposal? My aunt asked. How did he ask? Marco smiled, lifting my hand with both rings. I took her to the Brooklyn Bridge. Told her I couldn't imagine my future without her in it. Asked her to marry me. She said yes. More truth. Just rearranged to fit the narrative. A love match. Lucia sighed happily. This is how it should be. Not just business, but real feeling. If only she knew how complicated real feeling was when your families had been murdering each other for decades. After dinner, the families mingled, awkwardly at first, then with increasing ease as wine flowed and old grudges were deliberately set aside for the evening. Marco pulled me out to a private balcony. You were perfect in there, he said. Natural, convincing. I wasn't acting. That's what scares me. Why does it scare you? Because falling for you wasn't part of the plan. Getting married was forced. But this, I gestured between us. This is real. And real things can hurt. They can also heal. Make everything better. He pulled me close. Isabella, I meant what I said in there. I can't imagine my future without you. Not because our fathers arranged it, but because you're extraordinary. Because being with you makes me want to be better. We've known each other 2 weeks. And I've learned more about myself in those 2 weeks than in the previous 26 years. His hand cupped my face. You challenge me, inspire me, make me laugh, make me think. How am I not supposed to fall in love with that? Marco, he kissed me, and I forgot every objection. Forgot the arranged marriage and the family politics and everything except the taste of him and the way his arms felt around me. Get a room. Someone called from inside. Marco's younger brother Luca, grinning. We broke apart. Both flushed. Rain check on that? Marco murmured. Very presumptuous. Very hopeful. He took my hand, leading me back inside. Come on, let's finish this performance. Then tomorrow I take you somewhere special. Just us. No families, no politics, no pressure. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of toasts and plans, and both families negotiating wedding details. The date was set, 3 months from now. A massive affair at the plaza, combining both families' traditions. It'll be a spectacle, my father said. Every family in New York will attend. This is historic. It's a wedding, not a summit, I protested. It's both. You're marrying to end a war. That's bigger than just the two of you. But when I looked at Marco across the room, laughing at something his brother said, I wanted it to be just about us. Just two people falling in love, not political pieces. He caught me looking and winked. Mouthed, tomorrow, our day, away from all this. At the end of the evening, both families stood for a photo, Castellanos on one side, Romanos on the other, Marco and me in the center, united, the symbol of peace. Smile, the photographer instructed. This is a happy occasion. Was it? I wasn't sure. But when Marco's arm came around my waist, pulling me close, I found myself smiling genuinely. Maybe it could be happy. Maybe we could make this work. That's perfect, the photographer exclaimed. The love between you two, it's radiating. Beautiful. After, as we said our goodbyes, Giovanni pulled Marco aside. I saw them talking, saw Marco's expression go from relaxed to tense. When he returned to me, he looked troubled. What did your father say? Nothing. Just family business. It's fine. Marco, honesty, remember? He glanced around, then pulled me into an alcove. He reminded me that this marriage is for the families, that my first loyalty is to the Romano name, that, he stopped, that I shouldn't let feelings complicate business. What does that mean? It means he's warning me not to actually fall in love with you, to keep this professional. His jaw clenched, which is impossible because I'm already completely in love with you, Marco. I know, it's too soon, too fast, too everything. But Isabella, I don't care. I choose you. Over my father's warnings, over family politics, over everything. I choose us. Your father won't like that. My father doesn't have to like it. He just has to accept it. He kissed my forehead. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., wear something comfortable. I'm taking you on an adventure. What kind of adventure? The kind where we forget we're supposed to be ending a war and just be two people falling in love. That night, I couldn't sleep. Sophia came over, finding me on my balcony staring at the city. How was the dinner of doom? Surprisingly bearable. Both families behaved. No one died. Small victories. And Marco? Perfect. Too perfect. It's terrifying. Why terrifying? Because I'm actually falling for him, Soph. Really falling. And if this goes wrong, then you deal with it. But Isabella, I saw the way he looks at you at the gala. That man is head over heels. This isn't fake for him. It's not fake for me either. That's the problem. That's not a problem. That's the best thing that could happen. You're being forced to marry someone you're actually falling for. That's like winning the arranged marriage lottery. I laughed despite myself. When you put it that way, exactly. Stop overthinking. Tomorrow, go on your date. Fall more in love. Be happy. You deserve it. Marco picked me up at exactly 10 a.m. in casual clothes. Jeans and a Henley that showed off his build. Very different from the suited businessman I usually saw. Where are we going? You'll see. He opened the car door. Trust me. We drove out of the city into upstate New York. An hour later, we pulled up to a stable. Horseback riding? You mentioned loving horses when you were young. That your family had a country house with stables before... He stopped. Before his family burned it down in the war. I thought maybe you'd like to ride again. My throat tightened. You remembered that? From one conversation? I remember everything you tell me. He helped me out of the car. Come on, I rented the place for the day. It's just us. The next few hours were perfect. We rode through beautiful trails, talked about everything and nothing, laughed until our sides hurt. Marco was funny and charming, and for those hours we weren't heirs to crime families. We were just two people falling in love. This is nice, I said, as we sat by a stream, letting the horses drink. Pretending to be normal. We could be normal. After the wedding, I meant what I said about legitimizing the business. We could build something clean, something our kids wouldn't have to hide. Kids? Someday, if you want them, he turned to me, if you want this to be real. A real marriage, real life, real future. I do. Want it to be real. I took his hand. I'm terrified of how much I want it. Me too. He pulled me close. But Isabella, I think we could have something incredible. If we're brave enough to reach for it. What if our families interfere? What if the pressure is too much? Then we stand together, choose each other, over and over again, until everyone believes it. He kissed me softly. I meant what I said. I choose you. Always you. We stayed until sunset, reluctant to return to reality. But eventually, we had to drive back to the city, back to our complicated lives. Thank you for today, I said as he walked me to my door, for making me feel normal, for making me laugh, I stopped, for making me fall in love with you. His smile was brilliant. Say that again. I'm falling in love with you, Marco Romano. Against all logic and reason. He kissed me deeply, desperately. Best thing I've ever heard. And Isabella? I'm already there. Completely, hopelessly in love with you. The next 2 months passed in a blur of wedding planning, family dinners, and stolen moments with Marco. We fell into a pattern. Official appearances during the week, private dates on weekends, late-night phone calls when we couldn't sleep. I miss you, he'd say at 2 a.m. Is that pathetic? We saw each other 6 hours ago. Very pathetic. I miss you too. 1 more month and you'll be stuck with me permanently. Promise? Promise. But the idyllic bubble couldn't last forever. The first crack appeared 3 weeks before the wedding. I was at the Met, working on a new exhibition, when my father called. Isabella. Come to the house, now. We need to talk. The tone in his voice sent ice through my veins. What's wrong? Now, Isabella. I arrived to find my father in his office with my Uncle Tony and 2 men I didn't recognize. The tension was palpable. Sit, my father commanded. Papa, what's happening? The Romano family is making moves, expanding into our territory without discussion, without permission. That can't be right. The alliance is 3 weeks old and already falling apart. He threw photos on the desk. Romano men meeting with our suppliers, undercutting our prices, taking our business. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding. They're betraying us, using this marriage as cover to weaken us. His eyes were cold. The wedding is off. What? No. Papa, you can't. I can and I will. This alliance is built on trust. They've broken it. The deal is done. Let me talk to Marco. He wouldn't what? Be his father's son? Isabella, wake up. He's a Romano. They're playing us, using your feelings to make us vulnerable. That's not true. I stood, fury coursing through me. Marco loves me. This is something else. A misunderstanding or love? My father laughed bitterly. There's no such thing as love in our world. Only power and survival. The sooner you learn that, the better. I fled to my car, calling Marco immediately. Isabella? What's wrong? Are you expanding into Castellano territory? Taking our business, silence. Then, where did you hear that? My father, he has photos. Marco, please tell me it's not true. It's complicated. My father made some moves without consulting me. I just found out this morning. I was trying to fix it before I found out? Before it ruined everything? Isabella, I'm handling it. I swear I didn't know. I would never. Your father did. And you're his heir, his representative in this alliance. My voice broke. My father is calling off the wedding. What? He can't. I'll talk to him. I'll fix this? How? Marco, how do you fix betrayal? It's not betrayal. It's my father being my father, making power plays without thinking about consequences. But Isabella, I love you. That's real. Whatever else is happening, that's real. Is it? Because right now, it feels like everyone was right. That this was never about us. That we're just pieces in their game. That's not true. I have to go. I hung up before he could respond, tears streaming down my face. Sophia found me at my apartment an hour later, holding a bottle of wine, I heard. Family network is blowing up. She pulled me into a hug. What are you going to do? I don't know. My father wants to call it off. Marco says he can fix it. But Soph, what if this is who they are? What if we can never escape our families? Then you decide what matters more. Your family's approval or your happiness. What if I can't have both? Then you choose. But Isabella, I saw Marco with you. That man loves you. Whatever his father did, I don't think Marco knew. My phone buzzed. Marco, please, let me explain. Let me fix this. Don't give up on us. How do I know this won't keep happening? That your father won't keep undermining the alliance? Because after tonight, He won't be in charge anymore. I'm taking over. Completely. No more power plays, no more games. Just me. Building the future we planned. You can't just take over. Watch me. Family meeting in an hour. I'm calling a vote. And Isabella? I'm doing it for us. Because losing you isn't an option. 2 hours later, my father called again. Giovanni Romano just stepped down. Made Marco head of the family. Publicly apologized for the territorial encroachment. Returned all the business his men took. He sounded shocked. The boy actually did it. Chose you over his father's ambitions. Papa, the wedding is back on. But Isabella, you need to understand something. Marco just made powerful enemies in his own family. His father won't forgive this. Neither will the old guard who supported Giovanni. Your husband-to-be just painted a target on his back. He did it for the alliance. He did it for you. Don't insult my intelligence. I've been watching you too. This isn't politics anymore. It's real. His voice softened. Be careful, Figlia mia. When men love that deeply, they make dangerous choices. Choices that can get them killed. That night, Marco appeared at my door looking exhausted but determined. Did you really force my father to step down? Reorganize the entire power structure? Risk civil war in my own family? He pulled me into his arms. Yes, all of it. For you. Marco, you didn't have to. Yes, I did. Because Isabella, I meant what I said. I choose you. Over my father, over family politics, over everything. You're my priority now. My only priority. Your family will hate you for this. Some will. Some already do. But the ones who matter, the ones building the future with me, they understand. They support this. Support us. He cupped my face. I'm not losing you because my father can't let go of old ways. I'm not losing us because of territory and power plays. We're better than that. We have to be. What if this makes things worse? What if your family retaliates? Then I deal with it. But Isabella, I need you to trust me. To trust us. Can you do that? I looked at him. This man who'd given up everything for me. Who'd risked his family's wrath to prove his love was real. Yes, I trust you. Thank God. He kissed me desperately. Because I can't do this without you. Can't build this future without you beside me. I'm not going anywhere. Promise? Promise. We're in this together, whatever comes. The wedding planning resumed, but the atmosphere had changed. Marco's father attended meetings but was cold, distant. Some of Marco's uncles refused to attend the wedding at all. The Romano family was fractured. I'm sorry, I told Marco one night as we reviewed seating charts. This is my fault. This is my choice. And I'd make it again. Every time, he took my hand. Besides, the family that stays? Those are the people who believe in what we're building. The future, not the past. That's worth the cost. 2 weeks before the wedding, things got worse. Someone leaked details of the Romano power struggle to the press. Suddenly, our wedding wasn't just family news. It was tabloid fodder. Mafia prince overthrows father for love. Romeo and Juliet, modern mob edition. Heir apparent chooses bride. Over empire. This is a disaster, my father fumed. We're supposed to be legitimate businessmen, not tabloid entertainment. Then we ignore it, Marco said calmly at the emergency family meeting. We proceed as planned. Let them write what they want. We know the truth. The truth is you've made us all vulnerable. Giovanni spat. Drawing attention to our families. To our business. For what? A girl? For my future wife. For the woman I love. For the future of both our families. Marco stood, facing his father directly. You taught me that power means nothing without legacy. Isabella is my legacy. Our children will unite what you spent decades trying to destroy. That's worth any price. The room was silent. Then, surprisingly, my father spoke. The boy is right. This wedding proceeds. And anyone who has a problem with it can deal with me. He looked at Giovanni. Your son just did what we've been trying to do for 3 generations. End this war. You should be proud. Giovanni said nothing, but the hatred in his eyes was clear. That night, Marco held me close in my apartment. This is getting dangerous, I said. Your father hates me, I know. But Isabella, he'll come around. Or he won't. Either way, it doesn't change us. What if he does something? What if he tries to stop the wedding? He won't. He's too smart to make that move. It would fracture the family completely. He kissed my forehead. Stop worrying. In 2 weeks, you'll be my wife. Nothing can change that. Promise? I promise. No one is taking you from me. Not my father. Not family politics. Not anything. I wanted to believe him, but something in Giovanni's eyes at that meeting haunted me. The day before the wedding, I was at a final dress fitting when Sophia burst in, her face pale. Isabella, you need to see this. She showed me her phone. A video, clearly taken secretly, of Giovanni meeting with someone I didn't recognize. That's Vincent Moretti, Sophia said. Old enemy of your father's. They're planning something. I don't know what, but the video audio was muffled. But I heard enough. Wedding is the perfect opportunity. Both families vulnerable. Eliminate the threat. My blood ran cold. They're planning to attack the wedding. We need to tell your father. Tell Marco. I was already calling Marco, my hands shaking. Isabella? What's wrong? Your father. He's planning something. An attack. At the wedding. I have video. Send it to me. Now. His voice went deadly cold. Where are you? The bridal shop. Marco, what are we going to do? You're going to stay there with security. I'm handling this. Right now. Marco, I love you. Trust me. I'll fix this. He hung up, and I was left with Sophia, fear coursing through me. What do we do? Sophia asked. We trust him. We trust that Marco will protect us. Protect the wedding. Protect everything we've built. But as I stared at my wedding dress, I wondered if trust was enough. If love could really conquer the darkness our families had created. Tomorrow would tell. The hours before my wedding passed in a surreal haze. Security tripled at the plaza. Marco's men swept every room, checked every entrance, stationed guards at every corner. My father's men did the same. For once, both families worked in perfect coordination, but Marco himself was absent. He'd left cryptic message, handling the threat. I'll see you at the altar. I promise. I love you. Where is he? I asked Luca, Marco's brother, who'd been assigned as my contact. Dealing with our father, making sure tomorrow goes smoothly. His expression was grim. Isabella, Marco is doing what needs to be done. Trust him? I do trust him. That doesn't mean I'm not terrified. Welcome to loving a man like my brother. Terror is part of the package. That night I barely slept. Sophia stayed with me, both of us jumping at every sound, every phone notification. At 6 a.m., my phone finally rang. Marco. Tell me you're okay, I said immediately. I'm fine. Everything is handled. Giovanni won't be a problem anymore. What does that mean? Marco, what did you do? What I had to. What I should have done months ago. He sighed. My father is stepping away. Completely. Leaving the country. He's been convinced that his presence endangers the family more than it protects it. Convinced how? The less you know, the better. But Isabella, the threat is neutralized. Vincent Moretti has been dealt with. The wedding will proceed safely. I promise you. When will I see you? At the altar. I have some final things to handle. But Isabella? His voice softened. In a few hours, you'll be my wife. Really, truly mine. And I can't wait. I love you. I love you more. See you soon, Mrs. Romano. The morning was chaos. Hair, makeup, the dress, my father looking uncomfortable in his tuxedo, my aunt crying, Sophia managing everything with military precision. You ready? Sophia asked as she fastened my veil. I looked in the mirror. The dress was perfect, white silk with delicate lace, elegant and timeless. The ruby ring on one hand, sapphire on the other. Castellano and Romano united. I'm ready. Terrified but ready. That's love, babe. Terror and joy all mixed together. The plaza was transformed. White roses everywhere, both family crests displayed side by side, hundreds of guests from every crime family in New York. This wasn't just a wedding. It was a statement, a new era, but Marco still hadn't arrived. Where is he? My father demanded. The ceremony starts in 20 minutes. He'll be here, I said with more confidence than I felt. He promised. 15 minutes before the ceremony, Luca appeared. He's here. He's getting ready. There was a complication, but it's resolved. What kind of complication? The kind that involved his father making one last desperate move. But Marco handled it. He always does. Finally, the music started. The processional, my moment, my father offered his arm. You're sure about this? About him? Because Isabella, once you walk down that aisle, there's no going back. I've never been more sure of anything. Then let's go give you away. Though for the record, I'm not actually giving you away. You're still my daughter. He's just borrowing you. Despite my nerves, I laughed. The doors opened. The guests stood, and there, at the altar, was Marco. He looked devastating in his tuxedo, his eyes locked on me with such intensity that everything else faded. The guests, the politics, the danger, none of it mattered. Only him. Only us. I walked down the aisle, my father beside me, every step bringing me closer to my future. When we reached the altar, my father stopped. Who gives this woman to be married? The officiant asked. I do. Her mother would have been proud. My father kissed my cheek, whispered, Be happy, Figlia. That's all that matters. Then placed my hand in Marco's. Marco's fingers wrapped around mine, steady and strong. Hi, he whispered. Hi. You made it. Did you doubt me? For about 6 hours, yes. Fair. But I'm here now. And Isabella, I'm never leaving. The ceremony was a blur. Traditional vows, exchanged rings, promises made before God and family. When the officiant said, You may kiss your bride, Marco pulled me close and kissed me deeply, thoroughly, making several guests whistle and cheer. Ladies and gentlemen, the officiant announced, I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Marco Romano. The reception was magnificent. Dinner, dancing, speeches from both families. My father and Marco's mother both spoke, their words carefully diplomatic. Luca's best man speech was funny and touching. Sophia's maid of honor speech made me cry, but the most important moment came during our first dance. You never told me, I said as Marco held me close. What happened with your father? What you did to make him leave. I gave him a choice. Leave voluntarily with his honor intact and a generous settlement, or be exposed for the plot against us. He chose to leave. That simple? No, but it's done. And Isabella, I don't regret it. Not for a second. You're worth everything I gave up. Everything I risked. Your father made his choice. I made mine. I chose you. I'd choose you again. Every time. We danced in silence for a moment, then Marco spoke again. I have a gift for you. For us. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. 2 tickets to Italy. 2 weeks, just us. No families, no business, no politics. A real honeymoon. Marco, can you even leave right now? I'm the head of the family. I can do whatever I want. And what I want is 2 weeks alone with my wife. Falling more in love in the country where our families began. When do we leave? Tomorrow morning. I have everything arranged. Luca will handle things here. Your father agreed to it. Isabella. For 2 weeks, we get to be just Marco and Isabella. Not heirs or pawns or political pieces. Just us. That sounds perfect. Later, as we cut the cake, Marco leaned in. You know what I realized today? What? That my father was wrong. Love isn't a weakness. It's the most powerful thing in our world. Because loving you made me strong enough to stand up to him, brave enough to choose a better path, determined enough to build something worth having. Very philosophical for a mobster. Former mobster. I'm legitimate now, remember? Well, mostly legitimate, mostly. Some things take time. But Isabella, I promise you, our children will grow up in a different world. A better world. One where they don't have to choose between family and happiness. Children? We've been married for 4 hours. And I'm already thinking about our future. Sue me. I'd rather kiss you. That works too. The party continued late into the night. Both families, once bitter enemies, dancing and laughing together. Old grudges set aside, at least for this one perfect evening. Around midnight, Marco and I snuck away to the penthouse suite, exhausted but happy. We did it, he said, pulling me into his arms. We're actually married. Against all odds. Because of all odds. Because we were brave enough to choose each other. He kissed me softly. I love you, Mrs. Romano. Today, tomorrow, forever. I love you too. Even though you're dramatic and overprotective and slightly crazy. Slightly crazy? Okay, very crazy, but mine. And I wouldn't change a thing. We stood at the window, looking out at New York City, the city our families had fought over for generations, now united under our marriage. What are you thinking? Marco asked. That Romeo and Juliet got it wrong. Sometimes love doesn't end in tragedy. Sometimes it ends in triumph. Sometimes it ends in both families at the same wedding, celebrating instead of fighting. He turned me to face him. Sometimes it ends in this, us, together, building something neither of our fathers could imagine. A real partnership. The best kind. He kissed me again, deeper this time. Now, can we please stop talking about our fathers and focus on the fact that you're my wife and we have this entire suite to ourselves? Very presumptuous. Very motivated. He lifted me easily, carrying me toward the bedroom. I've been waiting months for this. For you. Completely mine. I've been yours since the gala. You just didn't know it yet. I knew it the moment you looked at me, the moment you smiled, and I knew my life would never be the same. He set me down gently. Thank you, Isabella, for taking a chance on me, for believing we could be different. Thank you for proving me right. Epilogue. 2 years later. I stood in the nursery of our Brooklyn brownstone, watching Marco rock our daughter Sophia to sleep. He sang softly in Italian, the same lullaby his mother had sung to him. She's already got you wrapped around her finger, I observed from the doorway. Completely. And I'm not even sorry about it. He looked up, his eyes full of love. How are you feeling? I touched my stomach, where our second child was growing. Tired, happy, grateful. Come here. He shifted, making room for me. Both my girls. I settled beside him, watching our daughter sleep. She had my dark hair and Marco's gray-blue eyes. Perfect. Do you ever regret it? I asked. Giving up the business? The power? Not once. What we have here, this family, this life, this peace, it's worth more than any empire. He kissed my temple. Besides, I'm not powerless. I'm building something better. The consulting firm is thriving. We're helping businesses protect themselves legitimately, making real money, real change. Your father would hate it. My father's in Sicily, enjoying his retirement. And honestly, I think he's happier. Being the boss nearly killed him. Now he grows olives and complains about the weather. It's much better. And your mother loves being a grandmother. She does. She's already planning Sophia's first birthday party. It's going to be bigger than our wedding. I laughed. Probably. Isabella, look at us. 2 years ago, we were being forced to marry to end a war. Now we're here, happy, in love, building a family and a future. We did that. Together. Best arranged marriage in history. Only arranged marriage that became real. He kissed me softly. I love you. More today than yesterday. Less than tomorrow. That's my line. Our line. Everything's ours now. Sophia stirred in his arms, making a small sound before settling back to sleep. She's perfect, Marco whispered, just like her mother, and just like her father. Stubborn, intense, completely lovable. I'll take that as a compliment. It is one. We sat in comfortable silence, watching our daughter sleep, my hand on my growing belly. This was peace. This was happiness. This was what our father's war had almost prevented, but love had won. Against the odds, against the families, against everything. Because sometimes, the best stories start with forced choices and end with perfect freedom. And ours was legendary. 5 years after the wedding, the Castellano Romano Foundation's annual gala was in full swing at the same venue where Marco and I had first met. Full circle, as Sophia would say. I stood at the entrance, watching the crowd, former enemies now allies, children from both families playing together, old grudges buried under years of cooperation and peace. Penny for your thoughts? Marco's arms came around me from behind, his chin resting on my shoulder. Just thinking about the first time we were here, how different everything was. How different we were. You mean when you were terrified of your ex and I was a brooding heir to a crime empire? Exactly that. I turned in his arms. Look at us now, running a legitimate charitable foundation. 3 kids, actual peace between our families. Don't forget the consulting business that's expanding internationally. And the art gallery you just opened. And, okay, overachiever, we get it. We're successful. He laughed, kissing me softly. We're happy. That's what matters. Mama, Papa, 7-year-old Sofia ran up, her little brother Alessandro toddling behind her. Nonna Lucia says it's time for speeches. Where's Matteo? I asked, scanning for our youngest, with Nonno Salvatore. They're arguing about soccer again. Marco and I exchanged amused glances. My father and our 5-year-old son had formed an unexpectedly close bond, spending hours debating everything from sports to philosophy. Let's go rescue your father, Marco said, taking my hand. The ballroom was packed. Every major family in New York had sent representatives, not out of fear or obligation, but genuine respect. The Castellano-Romano alliance had transformed the landscape. Crime was down, legitimate businesses were thriving, and the next generation was growing up without the weight of blood feuds. Giovanni Romano sat at a table near the back, looking older, but somehow more at peace. He'd returned from Sicily 2 years ago, humbled by time and distance. His relationship with Marco was still strained, but they were working on it. For the grandchildren's sake, if nothing else. My father took the podium first, his voice strong despite his 70 years. 5 years ago, my daughter married Marco Romano. Many said it wouldn't last, that old hatreds were too strong. That peace was impossible. He paused, looking directly at Marco and me. They were wrong. Not only did it last, but it flourished. And from that marriage came something none of us expected, a better world for our children. He gestured to the room. The Castellano-Romano Foundation has invested $50 million in community programs, education, healthcare, job training for at-risk youth. We're building legitimate opportunities for the next generation, giving them choices we never had. Applause filled the room. But more than the money, more than the programs, my daughter and son-in-law gave us something priceless. Hope. The belief that change is possible, that we can be more than what our fathers were. His voice roughened. Isabella, Marco, thank you. For being brave enough to choose love, for showing us a better way. He stepped down, and Marco took his place. 5 years ago, I married the woman I loved to end a war. But what I didn't expect was how much that marriage would change me. Change us. Change everything. Marco's eyes found mine in the crowd. Isabella taught me that strength isn't about power or control. It's about choosing compassion, choosing growth, choosing to build instead of destroy. He turned to address the room. Every person here represents a family that's been touched by violence, by loss, by the endless cycle of revenge and retribution. But tonight we celebrate something different. We celebrate 5 years of peace, 5 years of choosing cooperation over conflict, 5 years of building a future our children can be proud of. More applause, genuine and warm. The foundation is just the beginning. We have plans to expand our programs, to reach more communities, to create more opportunities, because the best way to honor our past is to build a better future. He looked at Giovanni, an olive branch, and we do it together, all of us, united. After the speeches, I found myself on the terrace, the same terrace where Marco had kissed me that first night. Nostalgic? Sofia, my best friend, not my daughter, appeared beside me with 2 glasses of champagne. Very. This is where it all started. Where Marco and I had your first kiss. I remember, I was there, freaking out that you'd just kissed a Romano. She clinked her glass against mine. Look at you now, queen of the United Families, mother of 3, successful businesswoman, living your best life. It's surreal sometimes, like I'm living someone else's dream. It's your dream. You and Marco built this together. She squeezed my hand. I'm proud of you, and your mom would be too. The mention of my mother, gone now for 20 years, made my eyes sting. I wish she could have met him, met the kids, she knows, somewhere she knows. And she's so proud of the woman you became, the life you chose. Marco found us a few minutes later, holding Matteo, who'd apparently tired himself out arguing with my father. We have a sleepy boy, he announced. I think it's time to head home. Already? The party just started. The party will go until 2 a.m. Our children turn into gremlins if they don't sleep. Choose your battle. He was right. We gathered our 3 kids, Sofia protesting that she wasn't tired, while yawning. Alessandro already half asleep on my father's shoulder and Matteo completely unconscious in Marco's arms. The drive home to our Westchester estate was quiet. We'd moved out of the city 2 years ago, wanting space and safety for the kids. "They're all asleep," Marco observed, checking the rearview mirror. "Small miracles." I reached over, taking his hand. "That was a good speech tonight, about building the future." I meant every word. "Isabella, when I look at our kids, at Sophia with your intelligence and my stubbornness, at Alessandro with his gentle heart, at Matteo with his fierce loyalty, I see the best of both families, without the worst. That's worth everything. You think they'll understand someday? What we gave up? What we fought for? I think they'll take it for granted, which is exactly what we want. For them, peace is normal. Cooperation is expected. They don't know any other way." He squeezed my hand. "That's our legacy. Not power or territory or family trees, but children who grow up safe and loved and free from the weight of old grudges." At home, we carried the kids to bed, a practiced routine after 5 years. Sophia's room first, with its art supplies and books everywhere, then Alessandro's, decorated with dinosaurs and superhero posters. Finally, Matteo's, full of building blocks and toy cars. "Remember when it was just us?" Marco said as we finally collapsed on our bed, "when this house was too big and too quiet. And now we're constantly tripping over toys and negotiating bedtimes. I prefer this, the chaos, the noise, the life." He pulled me close. "You know what I was thinking during the speeches?" "What?" "That we should renew our vows. 10-year anniversary is coming up. Do it right this time. Not because we have to, but because we want to. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. Celebrate how far we've come." "Marco Romano, are you asking me to marry you again?" "Every day. For the rest of our lives. So what do you say? Want to renew your vows to this former mobster turned legitimate businessman, turned exhausted father of 3? Only if you promise to write your own vows this time, not the traditional ones. Deal. But Isabella, just so you know, my vows will be embarrassingly romantic. Prepare yourself. I'm counting on it." We lay in comfortable silence, the kind that came from 5 years of marriage and partnership. "Do you ever miss it?" I asked finally. "The power? The respect that came from fear instead of earned?" "Not even for a second. What we have now, what we built, it's real, solid, something I'm proud of." He turned to face me. "Isabella, I was the head of a crime family before I was 30. People feared me, respected my name, but I was miserable, empty, just going through the motions of a life I never chose. And now? Now I'm a husband and father, a businessman, a community leader, and I'm happier than I ever imagined possible because I chose this. We chose this. Together. No regrets? Only one. That we didn't meet sooner. That we wasted even one day not being together. Smooth talker. Honest talker. There's a difference." He kissed me softly. "I love you. More than the day I married you. More than yesterday. Less than tomorrow." You stole my line again. Our line. Everything's ours. The next morning, I woke to find Marco's side of the bed empty. Following the sound of laughter, I found him in the kitchen with all 3 kids, making an elaborate breakfast that looked like a disaster zone. "Mama's awake," Sophia announced. "Papa's teaching us to make crepes." "More like Papa's teaching you to make a mess," I observed, surveying the flour-covered kitchen. Details. Marco flipped a crepe expertly. "We're building memories. Memories require mess." Alessandro tugged on my hand. "Mama, look! I cracked an egg all by myself." Very impressive. I kissed his flour-dusted hair. "You're all very impressive." After breakfast and an extensive cleanup, Marco's mother and my father arrived for their weekly Sunday visit. It had become a tradition, both families gathering for lunch, the kids getting spoiled by their grandparents. "Isabella, you look tired," Lucia observed. "Are you feeling well?" "Just didn't sleep well last night. The gala ran late." Marco's eyes narrowed. "You've been tired a lot lately, and you barely touched your wine last night." "So, I'm tired. I have 3 kids and a full-time job. That's normal." But Marco was studying me with that intense focus he reserved for solving problems. "When was your last—" "Don't," I warned. "Don't go there." "You're pregnant again, aren't you?" The room went silent. All eyes on me. "I don't know. Maybe. I haven't taken a test yet. Go take one. Right now." Marco was already pulling me toward the stairs. "Kids, stay with the grandparents. Mama and I need to check something." "Are we getting another baby?" Sophia asked excitedly. "Possibly. Hold that thought." 5 minutes later, we stared at the positive pregnancy test together. "Number 4, Marco breathed. "We're having a 4th child. Are you upset? We said 3 was enough." "Upset?" "Isabella, I'm thrilled. Terrified, but thrilled." He pulled me into his arms. "Another piece of us. Another chance to get it right. Another child who'll grow up knowing only peace. We're going to need a bigger car. And more bedrooms, and possibly a nanny. But we'll figure it out. We always do." When we told the families, the reaction was predictably chaotic. The kids were excited. The grandparents were crying happy tears, and my father made a joke about us single-handedly repopulating the families. That evening, after everyone left and the kids were in bed, Marco and I sat in our home office, looking at photos from the past 5 years. "Look at this one," he said, showing me a photo from Sophia's first birthday. "You were pregnant with Alessandro, but we didn't know it yet. And this one," I pulled up a photo from the Foundation's first gala. "We look so young, so idealistic." We were young and idealistic, and terrified we'd fail. But we didn't fail. We succeeded, beyond anything we imagined. Marco pulled out a folder. "I've been keeping something. Started it the day we got married." He opened it to reveal a journal. Every significant moment, every milestone, everything I want our kids to know someday about how this all happened. I flipped through pages, his handwriting detailing our courtship, the wedding, the births of each child, the Foundation's launch, the first peace treaty signed with a rival family, the day Giovanni returned. "Marco, you wrote all this?" "Our story matters, not just to us, but to them, to our children and their children. They need to know that change is possible, that love can transform everything, that choosing compassion over violence, peace over war, family over power, that these choices matter." "You're going to make me cry." "That's allowed. You're pregnant. Hormones." "Shut up." But I was crying, reading his words about our journey. "This is beautiful. They'll treasure this. That's the plan. And Isabella." He turned to a blank page. "This is where I'll write about baby number 4, about how we learned we were pregnant again on a Sunday morning after our 5th anniversary gala, about how our family keeps growing, keeps evolving, keeps getting better." "You really think it keeps getting better?" "I know it does. Every year with you is better than the last. Every child is a miracle. Every day we get to live this life we chose. That's a gift." Later that night, in bed, Marco's hand rested on my still flat stomach. "Hello in there," he whispered. "I'm your papa. And I can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to show you the world your mama and I built. A world where love wins, where families unite instead of fight, where you get to be whoever you want to be, without the weight of old grudges. You're going to be an amazing father to this one too. I'm going to try. But mostly, I'm just grateful. For you. For them. For this life we have. It's more than I ever dreamed possible. Me too. We lay in comfortable silence, his hand still on my stomach, both of us imagining the future. Isabella? Thank you. For walking up to me that night. For being brave enough to take a chance on a dangerous stranger. For choosing me, over and over again, every day for 5 years. Thank you for playing along. For seeing past the arrangement to what we could be. For loving me enough to change everything. Always. For the rest of our lives. You, me, and however many kids we end up with. 4. Please, let's stop at 4. No promises. You're very hard to resist. Marco? What? It's a compliment. My wife is irresistible. I'm a lucky man. You're an impossible man. An impossibly lucky man. There's a difference. I fell asleep in his arms, dreaming of the future, of 4 children growing up in peace, of the foundation expanding its reach, of Marco and me growing, old together, surrounded by grandchildren who'd never know war. The families had said love couldn't end a blood feud. They were wrong. Love had ended the war, built peace, and created a legacy that would last generations. Because sometimes, the best stories start with arranged marriages and end with genuine happiness.